In this week's video, we are wowed by Stourhead House and Gardens, where we explored the historic buildings and surrounding countryside. Then we had a short stay at a small canal side site, followed by a much needed laundry stop at a famous Caravan and Motorhome Club site. But first, welcome to our channel. We are retired couple Kath and Sue, and have been travelling in the UK and living in our motorhome for the last 2 years with our furry companions Archie and Fudge. This freedom has taken us to some epic spots with magnificent scenery, and there is, of course, more to come. Oh, well, do you know, gang, I need to get myself a decent dash cam. I've got one, but it's not good enough for me to be able to take footage off and put it onto my channel. And I need to get one because this morning was, I think, probably the most stressful drive we've had in 2 years. So we came down a little lane, no passing places, leaving the side. First we met a big lorry. Then we thought we had plain sailing, and we turned onto another little lane, heading off towards the A road, and we met a tractor. Fortunately, I'd only just made the turn, so I was able to reverse back, and the tractor went by, gave us a thumbs up, and off he went. A bit further down the lane, we met a quad bike. No problem, quad bike. We found a little passing place, quad bike small, could get through. Another 200 metres or so, and we hit an area where the road was flooded. So I've now reversed about half a kilometre. Sue's just getting back in. I've had enough adventure for the day. Okay, Sue, no more adventure. Sue's been walking down the road in her wellies, doing like an advanced recce. I was sweating. Now we're in a supermarket car park, and I'm really much more relaxed here than I have been all morning. Oh, chill. Everything's fine. Well, good afternoon, and if you're wondering where we are, we're at Stourhead campsite, which is owned by the National Trust, who own a lot of this land, including a big house. And because we're staying at the campsite, you get free entrance to the house. We've managed to get it for £26 a night. That's with electric hookup. Now, it doesn't have a shower or toilet block on the campsite, but it does have, as part of the main estate, a shop, a cafe, a visitor centre, and there are some public toilets over there as well. So all in all, good value for money, and hopefully I'll be able to show you a bit more of the house, the gardens, the visitor centre, and all the other things tomorrow. Good morning. So today we're going to go off and explore the gardens at Stourhead, and we're all going together, so the buggy's out. We've just noticed that Archie's suddenly got a bit of a trot on. And Sue thinks it's because the pub's down here, which is very typical of Archie, because every time we go around town centres he drags us into pubs. Spread Eagle Inn. And who's taking us in that direction? Archie. He knew it was the pub. Do you want to get into here then? These are holiday cottages. This structure behind me is called, what is it called? Temple of Flora or Temple Flora? So he's just checking the guide and looking after the dogs. Temple of Flora. Of course that's what I'm doing. But it's quite beautiful walking through here. We were both saying that In the summer we would imagine it's even more beautiful because all the flowers will be out. There's quite a few trees with flowers on them or blossom on them. So there's definitely a little bit of spring in the air, even though it's drizzling again. Oh, this tree is. When we came in, there was some signs talking about the water, saying that they're doing some repairs on the dam at the moment. So they've actually deliberately lowered the water level so that they can do the repairs that they need to. It's obviously really, really well maintained and managed, this place. Right, that is open. You can actually go in and have a look. So this is really interesting because there's some information inside that tells you that this was built before 1785. And it looks like it was some kind of cottage to live in on the estate before it became just I guess, a feature of the garden. And this building behind me is called the Pantheon. Don't know anything about it yet, but it looks like it's open, so I'll have a look inside. I found out that the Pantheon was built in 1753, and it was built inspired by the original Pantheon. And inside you've seen some of the statues, which are smaller replicas of some of those that you can find in the original Pantheon, built kind of as a very decorative feature. I think they used to entertain in there as well, so interesting place. Look at this thing behind. A Gothic cottage. That was supposed to be a Gothic cottage over there. Well, confused, but this looks older to me. The Temple of Apollo. That's what it says on that sign. Well, this is interesting. Ooh. Come up through there and there's loads of steps and the steps carry on up there, but I've left Sue and the dogs at the bottom, so I'm going to go back down. With another exciting tunnel, and I think this is, and the other one, actually wasn't the Temple of Apollo. There is something that looks like a temple up the top. This is actually the steps up, and I think this one's the steps back down. I wonder how many years this has been here. What do you reckon, Susie? How many years has that been there?
Absolutely no idea.
And this is us heading back into a little courtyard with the pub and the shops. Well, a few little shops anyway. Well, this is the entrance to the shop and the cafe. I'm going to go in and have a look around the shop. This is obviously the gardening section. and iced woofing. A trio of mini iced woofins. Oh, maybe I'll get some of those for the dogs. Now my dad would love that. So this is it back at camp. Now what we have found out is a day ticket to go around the house and the grounds is £20. So we've just done the grounds today. We're going to go back without the dogs tomorrow to go around the house. And all of that is free because we're staying on the campsite. So when you start to look at that, it really is quite good value for money. And the grounds, they were lovely. Sue's morning run took her past King Alfred's Tower, believed to mark the site where King Alfred the Great rallied his troops in 878. So morning folks, today's one of those rare opportunities that Sue and I are going to something together. These days it is a bit rare, but we're going back to Stourhead, but this time to see the house. Now the dogs aren't allowed in the house, so that's why it's just the two of us. We've left the dogs in the van. We've obviously got a camera so we can keep our eye on them. But for now, we're going to head off and have a look at this beautiful house. This must have been the old stable block. Looks like it's got workshop-y type places now. Probably where they keep all the tools for the garden, because we've just walked through a vegetable garden. And there's people working there from the National Trust. And our first glimpse of that magnificent house. Well, we're back from our visit to the house, and I didn't film anything in the house, mainly because it was actually just really quite dark in there, and they explain the reason why they keep the light low, and that's just to stop any sunlight damage to some of the paintings and furniture and books and everything that's in there, just to preserve it for as long as possible. Now it is really interesting, and I think it's worth it. If you're into that kind of thing, it's definitely worth a visit. It was built by the Hoare family, remained in the Hoare family for many generations, right through from something like 1716, something like that, I think, when it was first started to be built, right through until I think 1947, when it was gifted to the National Trust, when one of the owners, it was gifted in a will, and that is because death duties at the time were really high, and about 85% of the estate would go in taxes. And the then owner, who I'm sure would have been a Henry, because they all seem to be Henrys, but the then owner didn't want the house to have to kind of be broken apart and some of the things sold to just upkeep the house. So he gifted it to the National Trust. Now there is still a wing of the National Trust, a wing of the house, which is used by the Hoare family, and that must have been all part of the deal. So there is somebody, I think it's Audrey Hoare, who still lives in a wing in Stourhead. Fascinating. Good morning. Now last night, or yesterday afternoon, we arrived at Marsh Farm. And we've woken up this morning to, well, the sun's in the sky. And it's quite mild. This is the very first time this year where I've actually felt like standing outside and cooking my breakfast. Things are turning. We're on the up. Now Marsh Farm is a little independent campsite, although they think they have a CL attached to this as well, but we're on the hard standing, which is open this time of year, and it's set right on a canal. I don't know if you can see the canal boats in the distance. Probably looks like a long way on this camera, but actually it's probably 200 metres down the track directly from here, and you're onto the canal. So it's brilliant for running for Sue, great for the dogs. and smashing for just a couple of nights for both of us. Oh, by the way, it's just a few miles out of Trowbridge, which is where we did our shopping yesterday, our laundry, and picked up some food from Pets at Home for our 2 dogs. When you enter the site, you pass all these farm buildings full of independent traders, including some small craft shops. There's even a coffee bar. Well, we just stopped in a lay-by. We're on the move again. We're off to a Caravan and Motorhome Club site at Longleat because they've got laundry facilities. And we've got another laundry bag full again. I mean, we do go through a lot of washing. I think it's Sue's fault because she's a runner. Well, good morning, folks. Second morning on the trot, and as you can see, today, glorious sunshine. It's, I've not got my watch on, don't know what time it is, but it's before 9 o'clock, and I'm in a t-shirt. Maybe this is the sign of things about to change in our balmy weather. The first year that we set off in our motorhoming adventure was 2022, and I know it's a long time ago. Well, it's 2 years ago, it's not that long, but if you remember, that summer was just out of this world. We had wall-to-wall sunshine from, well, we left in March, beginning of March, and by April the weather had started to improve, and it was pretty much wall-to-wall sunshine all the way through that summer, right through till, as I remember it, September. And so we got that idea that this outside life was brilliant, and then we were ready for the winter, and the winter was closing in. And I recall it being mostly dry, cold and dry, and we've got a good heating system in here, so we were nice and warm and toasty, and winter didn't seem so bad at all. And then we got to March last year, and I remember March last year being quite a depressing month because it was just rain. And it was at that time, you know, you get to March and you start to think, right, this is it. Summer's going to start, you know, spring and summer are going to start landing again. We're going to get some nice, warm, sunny mornings, and then in the summer it's going to be beautifully hot again. Well, March last year was a complete washout. And by the end of March, we were soaking wet. Oh, I think Sue's back from her run. And then last summer wasn't brilliant. And it feels to me now like winter's probably started in November, as in winter, it's going to rain, and has literally rained. And now where are we? We're March. It's still been raining mostly. So when you get a day like today, when you can get your caddock out again and have your bacon butty in the morning, well, it starts to all come flooding back, those fantastic memories of that very first summer. And hopefully we'll get a good summer this year again, and we'll be back out there enjoying the sunshine. And the other thing about having good weather is you can do so much more, can't you? All those kind of things that you would normally sit down outside and you're not having to take indoors, you can do. These boots have had a hammering over the winter. So I've decided, yesterday I washed them off. I know they might not look that clean, but they're cleaner than they were. And I've got the special beeswax specific to these boots, so if anything ever went wrong, they couldn't claim I was using the wrong wax or anything like that. And time to wax my boots, get them ready for the next downpour. Well, as usual, Fudge and I are out for our afternoon walk, and we're staying very clear of Longleat Park. I would like to have visited it actually, but unfortunately it's something like £49.99 to get in per head, and then you pay another £9 if you want to go on the bus to tour the safari park itself, which obviously we would do because we would not want to drive through there with our motorhome. Anyway, a walk is good anyway, and we'll just watch the BBC programme about the park. I think it actually is called the park, which they do it twice a year, I think. So it's really interesting and good, and I wish them all the best, but too pricey for us. Well, that's it. Walk completed. Getting back for the usual cup of tea.
Hey darling, can Can I tell you what's been on my mind? Sick and tired of the 9 to 5 in the city life.
Good morning. Now I did say I wasn't going to film too much at this site, and I know I've filmed bits and bobs because it's a Caravan and Motorhome Club site and they're all much of a muchness really, but I just wanted to show you this because it's really quiet here at Longleat, and it is midweek and it is kind of early, is it early March? Mid-March. So I think Longleat, the park has only just opened itself, and as I've already said, we're not going, it's too expensive, but I just want to show you our pitch because we're kind of on our own.
Yeah, the countryside is so pretty.
And just there is the entrance to the dog walk. So we deliberately parked where we did on the site because we wanted to be close to the dog walk because, you know, Archie can't get very far, and even just getting out for wheeze and poos at the start and the end of the day, being next to the dog exercise area is great. And it's one of those exercise areas, in fact I'll show you actually, because it's in some woodland, and it's actually bigger than most of the dog walking areas that we've seen on Caravan and Motorhome Club sites, probably with the exception maybe of Cirencester. It's a different type of area, because there it is.
Got bags and get in that car.
It's actually situated in those woods, and there's a muddy footpath all the way around, which they've covered quite a lot of it with bark, so it's passable, it's doable. You're going to do the whole thing, take wellies, but dogs are allowed to roam free in there, so you can actually let them off their leads, which is really nice. So definitely a thumbs up. The other thing I'd say about this site, currently the staff who are here, and I don't know how long they've been here or going to be here, but they are super friendly, so another second thumbs up.
Take my hand.
So we leave you today with memories of beautiful sunshine and dreaming of better weather to come. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Let's drive to the open air. Yeah, the countryside is so pretty with the wind blowing in your